Hello everybody, welcome to Michael Mounts Photography Facebook page again. Today's session that I've been working hard on, basically going to be doing a PowerPoint presentation for you. This is just the basics. Again, I am no expert. Everything that I've learned I've taught myself. But I promised you guys to put together a short video about teaching yourself photography, some resources, some links that I have used to teach myself how to take a DSLR, use the settings, and basically take a photograph like a professional would. So today, this is what I'm going to put out there for you today. I apologize in advance. I have 5 girls here in my house. 2 of them are sick. So if you hear any coughing in the background or any screaming, that's them. This is real life, so I don't have my own studio, so to speak. Basically, I'm just putting these together for you because I want other people to learn just like I did. And I know there are people out there that want to learn how to become a better photographer, but maybe don't have the resources or don't know how to find the resources. So basically, this is why I'm putting this video together, is to help you become and do what I'm doing, because I love what I do. Photography is a passion and a love of mine, and those people who share that same passion, that same love that I have for it, I'm willing to do anything to help you out and answer any questions. So get out a notepad or pen and paper or digitally, whatever you have, your cell phone or whatever you take notes on, because there's going to be some web links that I'm going to give to you that you can actually go to later. I'm not going to bore you to death with a long video presentation. So get out your notepad, whatever you want to copy these web links. You can put them in your browser as I'm talking, and I'll actually bring up the addresses. You'll see them. You can write them down, and I'll give you time to write them down, and then later on you can check it out for yourself. So let's go ahead and get into the presentation. So here's the start of the presentation. I'm going to flip back and forth between the camera viewing me, so you don't have to look at my ugly mug for the whole time. You'll get to hear my boring voice, but you won't have to look at my ugly mug for the whole time. I'm going to be going back and forth between myself as I'm talking and going to the PowerPoint presentation. And if there's some maybe side notes that I want to add in, I'll come back so that I'm actually talking to you, because I want it to be as personable as possible. So today, learning digital photography is what we're going to be talking about. And learning digital photography. A lot of you probably have taken a point and shoot camera. A lot of the Nikons and Canons and Sonys and all kinds of other different type of point and shoot cameras. Basically, what a point and shoot is one of those cameras that doesn't necessarily have a lens or a viewer in it, where you actually put it up to your eye and view through the lens. Point and shoots are just cameras that have the digital screen, and you just point it at what you want to shoot and then take the picture. Today we're going to be learning about DSLR. It takes a little bit more skill. Holding the camera is different, but basically what I'm going to do, instead of boring you with my long definition and how I've learned and things that I do, I'm going to give you some links to people that I trust, people that are world renowned. There's 3 photographers that I'm actually going to show you in here, and links that you can go to their pages that are world renowned photographers, sought after photographers. Some of them do their own video basically teaching photography, teaching the basics of photography, teaching professional photography, even in more advanced stages. Some of them do webinars you can sign up for. One of the ones that I follow, he does a webinar probably once a week or once every 2 weeks, where he actually goes out there and not only shows and teaches photography tips, but actually shows the post-processing side of it, using Photoshop and Photomatics and HDR, and getting more, a little bit more advanced stuff here. So get out your pen and paper, like I said. Basically, here's some resources and helpful links. Now, there are a lot more that I have used, but these, I just wanted to pick out 4 that I could share with you. The first one, this this guy right here, his name is Trey Radcliffe. StuckingCustoms.com. Now I'll go back and forth between these links so that you can write them down. But the first one that I'm going to do is the Stucking Customs. This one right here. If you go to this address right here, basically it's going to bring you up to this web page. It's called Stucking Customs. Trey Radcliffe, he is a world-renowned photographer that travels all over the world. I mean, literally all over the world. He travels to the probably places that people have never even heard of. And his photography is awesome. And when you go to his site, you'll see that he gives a free HDR tutorial. And you're probably wondering what HDR is. That's something for another day, another session. HDR is just a type of photography that basically you can use 3 or 4 or more different exposures of a particular image and enhance that and bring it out and make it look real life, like the way your eyes see it. Takes a flat photo and brings out all the textures and everything else like that. So this guy, Trey Radcliffe, you can go to his site. This is Trey right here. Great guy. I don't know whether you have Google Plus or whether some of you are on Google Plus. Look him up on Google Plus. Puts a lot of really good resources out there. Excellent guy. He has Hangouts because Google Plus has Hangouts that you can go and just talk to him. He gives you tips and tricks, and the camera, you can see the camera that he has with him right now. He uses actually a really expensive Nikon 3X is one of his favorites. It's like a $7,000 camera. Someday that's one of the cameras I'd like to have. But really good guy, awesome guy, very personable. Loves to help other people and show other people, you know, photography. So go check out his site, StuckingCustoms.com. The next one we're going to go to, this guy right here, CarlTaylorPhotography.com, which is this right here, CarlTaylorPhotography.com. When I first started, when I first bought my DSLR, this guy was just amazing in teaching because he has free videos that he put out there, and he's a very sought out photographer. He does not only nature and wildlife and landscape photography, amazing portrait photography. He is sought out after for like supermodels and magazines and everything else like that. Just a master of lighting effects and fast motion photography, capturing moving light photography, which is basically when you're in a city and a lot of the cars are going by. You've ever seen those pictures where you see the streaks of light. A lot of his photography touches on that. So this is his page. If you want to go to it, it's CarlTaylorPhotography.com. And if you see him, here's Carl right here in the left-hand corner, or I'm sorry, the right-hand corner. You'll see his picture there whenever you go. He's a really cool guy. When you go to the site, you can actually go and buy DVDs if you want, or if you would not prefer to buy DVDs and don't want to spend a lot of money, he has up here a link that you can go to, and when you click on that link, it takes you to a free photography session. He offers free DSLR photography courses, and if you once you go, there's a sample video that he'll give you of him talking, and basically from there, as you go down the page, now there's a ton of lessons. Some of them are in PDF form. Other ones are like 5-minute videos that he teaches. Like there's lesson 1, basically that talks about the 6 essentials of photography. And when you're talking about the 6 essentials of photography, basically you want your light, medium, which is what the light or image is recorded onto, your camera, the camera that you're using. That's what the medium is. Your aperture, the hole that light comes through. A lot of people, you've heard the word aperture and you just didn't know what it was or what it was for or what it even did. The aperture on a DSLR camera is very important for good shots. So he talks about that, how to determine how big and how small the aperture should be, shutter speed, composition, and optics. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and go over everything. I'm just picking out my favorite lessons. Now, this first lesson is in PDF form, which, you know, if you have Adobe Reader, which is free, you can go to adobe.com and just download the reader, and you can you basically get this PDF and check it out and read it. And there's tips and pictures and everything in that. The other lesson that I like is lesson 2, which is basically understanding light, part 1. What makes good light, how do you know when the light is right, and what the best time of the day to shoot is, and also how different types of light affect the quality of your photograph, you know, whether it's sunlight or artificial light, you know, made from you know, like box lighting or umbrella lighting, that type of thing. He goes into all of that detail. Great guy. And another lesson, one of my favorite lessons is lesson 5. Like I said, there's a lot of lessons on here. Lesson 5, this is where another part of the lighting he uses. There's a lot of people, even professional photographers, that say you should never ever shoot directly into the sunlight. Well, Carl Taylor takes this to a whole other level and uses that sunlight for something beautiful. He has, on this video you'll see, he has a model that is modeling for him, and basically captures the sunlight in her hair as you watch this video. It's an amazing video that he puts together that shows you how to use sunlight to your advantage, so that when you take a picture it's not blown out. Because a lot of people that take pictures at direct sunlight, you'll notice that it's blown out or overexposed. You don't want that, but he shows you the techniques to use in order to do that. The next one is the next and last one is going to be lesson 8, which basically is action photography. Now, a lot of you may not want to do action photography, but just in case you do, he gives a small, short, I think 5-minute video, something like that, on action photography. Action photography is anything that when you're out and people are walking, running, race cars, football, soccer games of your kids, motorcyclists, and actually one of the videos that he does is taking pictures of motorcyclists, capturing a photograph that when you look at it, it's not just blurred. The subject of the photograph isn't just blurred. He teaches you how to take action photography, the settings that you use, and the panning. The panning is whenever you take and follow the subject with you, because a lot of DSLR cameras have an action photograph setting on it. So whenever a person's kicking a soccer ball or a football, it literally freezes that leg and that ball in motion. But if you're going to like a race, like a NASCAR race, or you're going to a motorcycle race, the subjects are going a little bit faster, so you want to capture them as they're going by. And he uses a panning effect, and that's basically taking the camera and panning with the subject as it's going and clicking that. Now you are gonna get some background blur with that, but with that panning effect, as you're following the subject, you're getting more of a crisp shot and more focus of that subject, and he teaches that in this lesson. So Carl, basically go to his site. Awesome guy, like I said, carltaylorphotography.com. Great guy. I've learned a lot of stuff from him when I first started out, and I just bought my DSLR a year ago. So everything that I've learned, all the photographs that you see out on michaelmounsphotography.com, my Facebook page, I've learned from people like him. Don't be afraid to check it out and try it out. I mean, I went and I saw his videos on lighting, and I actually went out and started doing things. He went out, and I think I've talked before on here about long exposures where you keep the lens open, and one of his videos that he shows is keeping that lens open for 20 minutes, and he shows a painting effect where he takes a torch or a flashlight and paints rocks and trees in the building around. It gets just an amazing effect with the sky, and in the background it's sunset and everything else like that. So one of my things that I've been working on is that he's one of the people that I've gone to a lot for tips and tricks, and hey, I forget stuff, and what did he say about that again? And I go back to his videos and refer back to them a lot. So he's an awesome person to go to. Okay, another photographer friend of mine on Google Plus, colbybrownphotography.com. If you go to his page, you don't have to actually write down that whole link that I have there. I should have probably shortened that. That's basically a direct link to his workshop. But if you just go to colbybrownphotography.com and click on his workshops link that he has on his site, it'll take you there. And he actually does one-on-one. He does sessions with people that you can actually go to where he is, and he'll take you on photography walks, teach you basic stuff. A lot of things that I've gone to are his webinars that you see that the arrow pointed to right now. He does free webinars probably once a week or once every 2 weeks. Great guy. He's very personable. He's given me a lot of tips and tricks, gone to my website for me, checked it out, told me what he thought, gave me some ideas, to make it better, that type of thing. So basically, these are three of the photographers that I recommend that you go to that have helped me out in digital photography, DSLR for photography, and taking more advanced photos. The last link on here, you ask yourself, okay, basically digital photography, I want to get into it. What do I need to know, or what do I need, and how do I get it? So I put a site out there. Now there are hundreds of sites about digital photography, about equipment that you can buy, what's the best, what rated equipment, where do I get it, where do I shop for it, that type of thing. But I found a site that you can go to that has a lot of resources, links, as you see there in the red box. A lot of links, forums, people talking about photography, questions you can ask other photographers, professional and amateur photographers. Hey, where did you get this lens? What kind of lens should I get for this? What kind of camera? What kind of tripod, bag, lighting, whatever. Anything to do with photography, you can go here and check it out. I've learned a lot of stuff from here. A lot of my resources that I go to, I've gotten from this page. So check it out. You got to start somewhere. Digital photography. What kind of camera do I need? Do I need an expensive camera? Basically, the one that I got, which I'll be showing you here. This is my camera right here. I got this at Best Buy. It's a Nikon D3100. I got the package deal. It came with two lenses. It came with a wide-angle lens and a 200 millimeter, basically, focal lens so you can zoom in, taking pictures farther away. I take a lot of moon pictures with it. Maybe nature, if a bird's off in the distance and you want to take a picture of a bird or something like that, it allows you to zoom in. 200 millimeters good. Ultimately, I'd like to get a 400 millimeter. But the lens itself is probably about $2,000 to $3,000. Photography is expensive. When you first start out, now this camera itself with the two lenses cost me about $700. So this D3100 at Best Buy that came with the package bundled. I got a case with it, and the camera, and the two lenses, and there's some other little stuff that came with it. It was about $700. If you want to get a better camera, the D90. Now, this is where the argument comes in. Okay, well, why Nikon? Well, in the photography world and industry, everybody's like Nikon, Canon, Sony. Pentax. What do I get? Basically, Nikon and Canon are the two biggest right now. That's in professional photography. That's what the pros are using, Nikon or Canon. Some of them go back and forth and use both. They both take the same type of shots. It's all about feel, what you like. The settings. Where are the settings? What kind of buttons? How easy it is to get to your settings. That's basically the difference between Canon and Nikon. So if you start off using a Nikon like I did, then that's what you're going to want to stick with, because whenever you invest in those lenses, Nikkor lenses will not work with Canon camera. So if you're going to pay $2,000 for a Nikkor lens for a Nikon camera, better not switch to Canons. But in the same way with Canon, if you go to Canon, buy Canon lenses, you can't switch to a Nikon unless you have thousands of dollars that you don't know what to do with, and you just want to go with both cameras, which there are a lot of pros that do that. So that's basically my advice to you. This is my camera. This is what it looks like with the wide angle, small wide angle lens on it. And this is what I'm looking through. If you can see here, this is the digital screen. Here's the viewfinder right here, which the digital screen rarely do I use. Sometimes I use it to set up certain shots, but rarely do I use it. I always look through the viewfinder so that I can see exactly what I'm taking a picture of. A lot of buttons, and this is what what scares a lot of people. A lot of buttons and controls and everything else like that on it. But don't be scared, because they are easy. They come with DVDs and instruction manuals on how to use everything. So a couple little things. A lot of people get the DSLR cameras, and because it isn't a point and shoot, it's a little bit bigger, of course, a little bit bulkier because the lenses stick out more. So a lot of people are like, okay, how do I hold this thing? It's not like a point and shoot. I always use a tripod, unless for some reason in extreme circumstances it doesn't call for it. A tripod will prevent any type of vibration or shaking that actually causes noise and also blurriness in the photo. Always use a tripod. And I also, when I'm using the tripod, you can either buy a remote button that hooks up to the camera so that you can stand away from the camera and just hit the remote, so you don't have to physically push the shutter button down, because when you push that shutter button down on a camera, that also causes shaking. If you don't want to buy a remote, you can just use the camera's self-timer on it. That's what I do a lot. Just hit this 10-second timer, hit the focus in, hit the shutter button, and let it take its thing, walk away, and nothing's moving it. So that's what I do. So when you're holding the camera, if you have to hold the camera, if there's a certain circumstance you hold the camera, always make sure you hold it. As you see, this girl right here, she's holding it with, she's taking with the right hand. Now it depends upon if you're left-handed or right-handed. She uses her fingers to zoom, using the manual zoom to focus in on her subject, and she has her hand palm rested underneath the camera. This shot right here shows basically you want to have total control, and Carl Taylor actually talks about this in his videos, how to take a camera and hold it so it's supported. So if you don't have a tripod, make sure your palm is underneath the camera supporting it. Your right hand is where all the controls are, and then you take, depending upon what hand you hold it in, you take that elbow and rest it against your side, so that your hand and your arm is acting like your tripod. Those are just some fun tips right there to get better pictures so that they're not blurry. So when you're taking a portrait shot of a person's face, you don't want any of that blurriness going on. You want to get a good shot. So basically that's my presentation for today. I really appreciate you guys coming out. I know that sitting here listening to me is probably not the funnest thing in the world, but I'm excited about this, and I want to share this stuff with you. So I hope you you learn a lot through my sessions that I do. I want to try to do at least one a week about different things. They may not all be this long, some shorter, some longer, depending upon how much time I have. You have any questions, suggestions, comments about these videos, things that, hey, Mike, tone it down a little bit, you're talking too fast. I tend to do that. When I get excited about things, I do talk too fast, so I apologize for that. But hey, I'm here and sharing these videos with you because of my love of photography, and I know that's why you're here. So I hope you've learned something today. Go to all those links that I've given you, check them out, and go out there and start taking pictures. So until next time, love you guys, take it easy, and keep taking those photos.